Alright, it's Henry again, and this is part 2 of my review of the 1:144 scale real grade Gundam Mk II Titan's Color version. And this part we're going to start off taking a look at the inner frame. And this is what the inner frame is going to look like, completely unpainted. So this is just everything snapped together straight out of the box. As you can see, we've got pretty much two shades of gray. We've got a darker gray and then kind of a medium gray. And then we've got these clear green parts on the chest and the head, which look really, really nice. I haven't painted those. It actually comes molded in that nice clear green. And we've got some red parts here for the cockpit, which I thought was a really nice feature. And you can't see a pilot in there, but there is a seat. There's a little seat down inside the cockpit. It just doesn't have a pilot sitting in it. But overall, the real grade inner frame for this kit is really, really nice. I think it's quite a bit better than the real grade RX-78s. The arms are pretty much the same, but it just overall has a much more sturdy, substantial feel to it. Especially the legs. The legs are really nicely done. Move this arm out of the way. We got all the moving mechanisms of the legs. And then, as you can see, we've got these nice mesh pipes on the back of the legs as well, on the knee joints and on the back here. You've even got a little bit of movement there. So you can see that part goes up and down. Got some hydraulics on the ankle joint there. So just really, really nice stuff. Is it as good as the Master Grade 2.0 frame? I don't think so, but I think it definitely has the Master Grade 1.0 beat, hands down. So let's get this painted and take a look at it with a little bit of paint. And this is what the inner frame looks like with a coat of paint. As you can see, what I did is I thought back to the Master Grade Gundam Mk II, and they used kind of a light bluish gray color for the inner frame, and I tried to copy that, so I mixed up a paint that was pretty close to that color. And as you can see, I used that and a combination of darker gray with it, threw in some gold in a few places. Basically anywhere they had gold stickers, I just used gold paint. And I actually am really pleased with the way it turned out. You got a little bit of the red cockpit showing through there. And it just is a really, really nicely done inner frame, and I'm really pleased with the job Bandai did with it. And after assembling all of the outer armor onto the kit, this is what it ends up looking like. Do a quick turnaround for you. Now, admittedly, this isn't my favorite paint job that I've ever done. I really, really like the paint job I did on the inner frame, but the outer armor, not so much. I got the blues a bit too dark. As you can see, you can still tell that it's a dark blue, but it really isn't. I got the blues too dark. It's hardly distinguishable from the black, and I don't know. I definitely wish I'd done a better job on it, but it's done. So anyway, I applied all the decals that came with the kit, all the clear stickers, except for the shiny, foily, metallic ones. For those, I just used paint. In case the green ones, I used fluorescent green paint, and the silver and gold ones, I just used silver and gold paint. So that's what the kit looks like fully painted. Let's take a look at the weapons real quick. First off, we get our standard beam rifle, which actually looks a lot better, in my opinion, than Mk II's original beam rifle. Now, if you go back and look at like the Master Grade 1.0 or even some of the older Mk II kits, the beam rifle is very, it's almost diamond shaped. It has a lot of angles to it, but this one I think looks much, much nicer. It almost sort of reminds me of New Gundam's beam rifle now. It's got this little handle right here which can go up and down, and the little E-pack down here is removable, so you can take that on and off. And you get 4 of these, by the way. One more feature, the camera right here can go up and down. And it's got two little pegs right here on the back end of the beam rifle where you can peg it into the side skirt right there. And it fits into the hand just fine. Honestly, you're really not even going to need the peg to plug into the hand. The peg is there, but you really don't need it because it holds it just fine without it. In fact, let's see, they give us a special fixed pose trigger finger hand. You really don't even need this because the posable hand holds it with no problem at all. Let's see, moving on, I did mention that you had 4 energy packs for the beam rifle. One of them you can put on the beam rifle, the other 2 you can fit on the back of the shield. Here it is. And they can be placed right there on the back of the shield like so. And then you've got one that's just kind of a straggler, so you'll have to put it in the box or a Ziploc bag or something. Anyway, here's the shield. It does have a sliding mechanism. Mine's a little bit stiff since I painted it, but it does slide in and out. There we go, finally get it to slide. It'll go down and then it'll slide back out. It's much less of a pain when it's unpainted. And then you've got a ball joint for the connector right here, so that'll be able to wiggle around. And then it's got a little folding thingy with a peg on it. Fits into this place on the back of the arm. And there you go. So we also have a hyper bazooka. There we go. It's got a camera up here. The handle can move back and forth. The little ammo box with the rockets is removable. It can come off. And you do get an extra one. You get one more, and it's got the same peg on it that the beam rifle did, so you can mount it to the side skirt just like the beam rifle. And take the beam rifle out of his hand, and he should be able to hold this pretty comfortably over his shoulder. Luckily the handle can move back and forth, so he can hold onto that a little bit easier. Also, there's another way you can store it. Back here at the back skirt, this little thingy opens up and reveals a little place where you can store the bazooka like so. Alright, the next up are the beam sabers, and they're pretty self-explanatory as you would imagine. You just take those out of these thingies up here. I'll get them out. And one thing that I'm not crazy about is they use these 1:100 scale beams on the real grade kits, and honestly they just seem a little bit too long to me. I wish they'd include 1:144 scale beams. I don't know why they keep doing this, but whatever. So the very last weapon is the Vulcan Pod for the head. And basically the Mark II doesn't have head Vulcans pre-installed like almost every other Gundam there is. Instead he has this little thing that kind of looks like a big set of headphones, and it's got 2 little indentations on the side of his head where that'll just clip in and he'll be able to use them like so. So that does it for all the weapons. As far as accessories, as I mentioned, he does come with 2 closed fists and 1 extra open hand, as well as the trigger finger hand I showed you earlier. And he does come with an action base connector. This is an action base 2, not included with the kit. And just plug that in. And you can put him in some kind of semi-dramatic pose if you want. Lean him forward, and you'll be able to connect to an action base just fine. And remember, the real grade Gundam Mk II comes with a set of option parts, and here I've put the standard parts on one side and the option parts on the other. And as you can see, we get two different sets of chest vents. We've got the standard on the left and option parts on the right. We get two different shoulder vents. Here's the standard one. Over here is the optional one. There's a decal on the top, much larger. And we get optional leg vents. Here's the standard, and here are the optional leg vents. And one thing that is important to note is that these option parts are exclusive to the Titans color version. The AUG version does not come with those. Alright, so that about does it for my review of the 1:144 scale real grade Gundam Mk II Titans color version. Overall, I think this is a really, really good kit. Like I said in part 1, the only real grade kits I've built prior to this are the Oryx 78 and Char's Zaku 2. But I will say that the Gundam Mk II easily outdoes both of those kits. It just kind of felt like with the Oryx 78, the Zaku Bandai was kind of gently getting their feet in the water, but with the Mk II, it feels like they've dove in head first and have really gotten used to the real grade concept and designing these real grade kits, and it just feels much more solid and substantial than the earlier real grade releases. This one actually feels like a tiny master grade. The inner frame I really enjoyed. It didn't feel like a stickman inner frame at all, and was just really had good construction to it and good part separation. The outer armor was pretty good. I don't know. I feel kind of biased because I don't really care for the paint job I did on it, but overall I think they did a good job with the color separation of the outer armor. One thing I kind of wish they had done is given us 3 different shades of blue instead of just 2. That's something I kind of added in myself with these lighter shades of blue here on the shield and on the head and a few other places. But overall, I think it just still looks pretty nice. The decals, or stickers I should say, they have a really good design, but they do show up a little bit easier on this darker armor. On kits with lighter armor, like the Gundam Mk II AUG version, for example, I think the edges of the decals won't be quite so noticeable, but on the Titans version, the edges of those stickers do show up a little bit more, so you may want to consider that, or may even consider just buying like some high-grade Gundam Mk II decals and water slides and just use those if you want. But overall, I do really like the design of the kit, and I think Bandai did a really nice job of it. I also really like their attention to detail with the mesh pipes in 3 different places, actually 6 different places. They give us the mesh pipes on the kit, and I think that adds a real master grade touch to a 1:144 scale kit. I also really like the clear green plastic they gave us, and I really hope they consider using that same clear green color in the future for not just real grades, but master grades as well. I would really like to see that used. So, I guess that about does it. There are downsides to the kit. Honestly, I can't really think of too many downsides. Some of the parts are kind of have a tendency to get paint scratched if you're going to be painting your kit, but other than that, there really aren't too many downsides to this kit. I haven't had any problems with the the fingers popping out like some of the earlier real grades did. None of the armor parts have fallen off even before I painted the kit. It's just everything seems pretty solid. It's a really solid kit, and I think Bandai did a good job with it. So that's about all I can think to tell you guys about this, other than go out and buy one, because it's definitely a standout release. So with that, I'll see you guys next time.